muted. My apologies. Welcome, guys, gals, and non-binary pals, to the UndeadGamingCast, our monthly podcast where we talk about video games, the industry, and stuff and all things. As always, I'm your host, the UndeadGamr. Sadly, on my own for this episode, but it's been so long since we've actually done an episode, and there's been stuff this month. There's been stuff this month that needs to be spoken about. So I'm unceremoniously back with a new episode on my ones, but we're gonna go with it. We're gonna see how it goes. Obviously, this won't be the norm going forward. Of course not. Normally, I'm joined with my co-host, Mr. SingularityJosh, who, for personal reasons, is not with us today. So just before we get into it, shout out to you, my buddy. Our love and thoughts are with you, essentially. It's going through a tough time at the moment, so hopefully we'll get you back soon. But moving swiftly on, if you're new to the UndeadGamingCast, welcome. Thank you for choosing to listen, watch, or however you're consuming this podcast. And let's, I suppose, give you a rundown of what we do on the show. Normally, like I said, it's myself and Mr. SingularityJosh, either the two of us or joined by a numerous rabble of guests that we have on the show occasionally. And usually we kick things off by discussing what we've been up to, what we've been playing this month in video games. Then we move swiftly on to our news topic or news topics of the episode before rounding things off by shamelessly self-promoting ourselves and telling you where you can find us on the internet. So, obviously, like I said, it's just me today, so things are probably going to be a little bit shorter than normal. Normally, we have a runtime of at least 1 hour 30 to 2 hours, or at least try to do that. So today's episode may be a lot shorter because there'll be limited discussion, mostly just my thoughts and feels. But we'll try, bear with me. We'll make it work, I think, I hope, I don't know. We'll find out. But either way, welcome to episode 14. So, like I said, it's been a while. It's been such a while since we've done one of these. I think the last episode must have been last year, December, honestly. And since then, my life has taken a bit of a turn in the last year, as many people's has. It's been trial and tribulations, shall we say. But I've sort of needed the time away. So if you've been following me on the social medias, you probably know to the degree of what's been going on. But we're back. So earlier this year, SingularityJosh, gifted me his old gaming PC. So shout out again to SingularityJosh. Gifted me his old gaming PC. So pretty much since January, February, I've been going ham on PC games and diving properly into the world of PC gaming, which has been fantastic. It's been absolutely amazing. Obviously, I'm not going to catch you up on what we've been playing for months. Some of it you'll be able to see on the podcast, on the live stream on Twitch, right? But recently, which I think has become one of my most streamed games right now, is Sea of Thieves. I seem to always be playing Sea of Thieves at the moment, and I'm living for it. It was definitely one of those games that I had no interest in playing whatsoever. When it came out to very mixed reviews and pretty poor reviews as well, being lacking in content. And if you've been a listener to the podcast for years, you'll know that I kind of struggle with episodes, or I kind of struggle with games that you have to make your own fun at. I need a bit more in the way of content to keep me busy, keep me going to the next whatever, right? And Sea of Thieves is definitely one of those make your own fun kind of games. And playing with people, fantastic, love it. But what surprised me the most is when I played it on my own, I still really enjoyed it. It's just so fun and chill going about on your own, doing this, that, and the other. It's relaxing and it's nice. So there's some stellar game design within that game. which is I don't know. I don't know. They do stuff in that game that it's just I don't know. It's just ingenious, and the way it makes you play together as well is fantastic. It's such an engaging game, and I think does a lot of things right and a lot of things new that I definitely think a lot of games can learn from. As for specifics, I'm failing you here. I haven't really got any. I haven't really mulled over my thoughts properly about this. I'm just sort of spouting nonsense at this point. But I'm sure if we discuss it in the future, maybe we'll do a bonus level where we just discuss Sea of Thieves, because I think that would be really fun to do. And really sort of go in depth with why we're enjoying it at the very least. But anyway, so I mean, if you want to catch our shenanigans, definitely check out the live stream and see where we go from there, essentially. But yeah, not to sort of like go too much into it, but that's kind of it, really. That's kind of it. Don't want to stick for too long, seeing as it is just myself as well. So yeah, that's primarily been taking up a lot of my time, an awful lot of my time. So yeah, obviously, normally there's more to this, but being just my ones, I suppose we'll just move on to today's topic. So obviously in the news recently, as of last week, I think the 21st, there was news of I don't even know how to really get into this, to be honest with you. I suppose for starters, there should be a content warning, as I'm going to sort of discuss a few topics, including abuse, sexual abuse and misconduct, and even suicide. Right? Last week it was made very public that the DFEH, which is the Department of Fair Employment and Housing within California, or just the United States in general, I think. No, it's a California state government thing. They have been investigating Activision Blizzard for the past 2 years with regards to allegations of misconduct, sexual misconduct, misogyny, discrimination against not only women but people of color, people of the LGBTQ community, queer folk, and just people from minority backgrounds, or on the those sadly the usual shit, right? And obviously last year we spoke quite extensively about Ubisoft and their allegations of sexual misconduct, rape, and goodness knows what else, that was just troubling to hear, troubling to see, and troubling to talk about. But here we legitimately are, once again, talking about basically the same shit, but a different company. And I'm kind of sick of it. I'm kind of sick of it, along with a lot of fucking people in the industry, that once again we're talking about this. And I'm not mad because I want to brush it under the carpet like some people want to, especially, and we saw that especially last year with Ubisoft fiasco, that there are some people that just want to ignore all this and get back to playing the games. We can't do that. We can't keep doing that. We can't just keep fucking ignoring this, because and this isn't just a company to company thing. This is clearly, evidently, an industry-wide thing. We know that the industry is rife with misogyny and disgusting behaviours towards minorities, people of colour, LGBTQ plus community. It's atrocious. It's essentially only been a safe space for those that are cis, white, heterosexual men. And not for anyone else. And it needs to fucking stop. The gaming industry is rotten to the core. To be perfectly honest, it's rotten to the fucking core. And I don't really know. I don't really know what to say other than that. So the DFEH have been, like I said, investigating Activision Blizzard for the last 2 years and really looking at their culture, which has been described as a frat boy type of culture. But honestly, I kind of think that's putting it way too nicely. Let's be honest and use the real fucking terms. What it is a toxic, evil culture, right? It's rape culture. Putting it bluntly, that's what it is. And for it to have gone on for so fucking long, exactly the same as Ubisoft, with people at the top knowing exactly what's going on, completely fucking ignoring it, and just letting it slide to the point where it becomes such a part of the culture within the company. It's just disgusting. It's just absolutely disgusting. And once again, here we are talking about another company, which again just goes to show, like I've said, it's a industry-wide problem. It's a rot. It's a rot that needs to be cut out. Because whilst all these companies say, yes, there are steps we can do, there are things that we can do to improve this, where we've learned from our mistakes, we're very sorry, it's all bullshit. Let's be real, the only time it's going to change is if we get the people who are in charge right now out of the fucking industry. The people that have too much money, too much privilege, too much power. Because they're the ones that have been perpetuating this for so long and will continue to perpetuate it because they're at the top and they don't give a fuck. They don't care. That much was evident when the allegations and lawsuit sort of came to light, really, on behalf of the victims of Blizzard, Activision Blizzard, and the many arseholes, rapists, evil bastards that are within the company. This much was evident from Blizzard's response, which, I'll be honest, I'm not at all fucking surprised at, seeing their previous quote-unquote apologies for their misgivings and wrongdoings within the industry. Was it 2019 that we were talking about the Hearthstone Free Hong Kong thing? I'm pretty sure that was 2019. And there was a Hearthstone player, an esports Hearthstone player, who at the end of a massive tournament broadcast, he won the tournament, shouted out "Free Hong Kong" with all the trouble and the issue that was going on in Hong Kong at the time, and I think is still going on. And Blizzard, good guy Blizzard couldn't have that. Good guy Blizzard could not have that, and banned this player, whose name I forget, banned this player from the sport and took away his prize money as well. just for making a political statement. Bearing in mind as well, and here's once again the ludicrousness of Blizzard, where all of their games are usually about, you know, the small overcoming the big, the greater, against unbelievable odds, you know, being the hero. And here they are doing that. They later apologised and allowed this player to keep playing Hearthstone, but still took his money away that he'd earned. They apologised at BlizzCon. And sorry. They apologised at BlizzCon. And it was barely an apology, because preceding the apology was, oh, by the way, here's Diablo 4. Oh, by the way, here's Overwatch 2. Oh, by the way, here's another Diablo game that we're doing. Just so we can quickly brush it under the carpet, ignore the bad shit. But hey, look at all the shiny shit that we've got. It's tactile. It's tactile. And it's exactly the same way that Ubisoft did it last year, if you remember, with E3 or the Summer Games Fest, where all these allegations were coming out just before Summer Games Fest, just before they were, you know, set to have one of their biggest years, with Assassin's Creed Valhalla on the horizon, among other things. And their excuse was, all of our press conferences are pre-recorded, so we can't issue an apology. We can't talk about it at the Summer Games Fest. We're going to ignore it and just talk about the games, which was bullshit. If you really gave a shit, if you really cared, you'd have done something. You've got how many people that work for you, and you couldn't make a video and get that edited onto the press conference? Or if the press conference has already gone, it's edited, it's gone to Summer Games Fest. I'm really sorry, this has happened and we're disgusted by it. Can you please play this new video before our press conference, if you cared? It's the same bullshit. So once again, Activision Blizzard's bullshit response to these allegations, these very serious allegations, very disgusting, evil allegations, is essentially, no, that's not our culture. We've been working for years to change that and make sure that we're a diverse, welcoming company to work for. These allegations, if they're allegations at all, are completely fabricated or blown up out of proportion. Not at all true. Once again, just showing, they don't care. They don't actually give a fuck that this toxicity, this rot, has been boiling away in their company, Good Guy Blizzard's company, for years. And say what you want about their games. Hell, I played World of Warcraft for at least 8 years of my life. I really enjoyed Diablo 3. Up until a couple of weeks ago, way before all these accusations came out, I was playing Overwatch quite regularly. A core group of my friends that I live near play Overwatch. That's their game. I enjoy their games. It doesn't excuse the disgusting behaviour within the company, the culture. So their non-apology, once again, trying to brush things under the carpet. And these aren't a few allegations here and there, right? This is a culture that's been going on for fucking years. Let me give you some examples of what's been going on at Activision Blizzard. So this frat boy culture has perpetuated the constant sexual harassment of women and men. Obviously, the vast majority of them have been women. The vast majority of the victims have been women. But there have been men also that have been targeted by this type of behaviour. Behaviour that is just unacceptable. To put it really nicely, it's unacceptable. This has been, at the very least, a culture of men doing very little work at Activision Blizzard. Very little. It's been a culture of men basically playing video games for a living. And I'm not saying developing video games and testing them and playing them to, develop. I'm talking dudes just fucking hanging out in break rooms playing Call of Duty, whilst delegating to other employees, mostly women, people of colour, saying, do this, do that, do my work for me, essentially. Oh, it's not good enough? Work fucking harder. Whilst they piss about playing Call of Duty. Paid to do nothing. And who gets the praise, the raises, the promotions? These arseholes. This industry also has a very disgusting habit and culture of silencing people. People are afraid to speak out because they don't feel safe. Go to human resources, they don't give a fuck. That much was especially evident with the Ubisoft stuff last year. They don't care. Because what it boils down to, human resources is there to protect the company. Not the employees. Not the people that work for the company. I mean, fuck. Human resources? What does resource mean? These people aren't fucking... They're not oil or petrol or gas. They're not a substance. And all the time, these victims have taken the brunt of it. there's a few games that some of these arseholes would play at Activision Blizzard. A few games where they would crawl through office cubicles in order to inappropriately touch female employees. There'd also be a game where men in the company would try and touch other men's genitals. In all the articles I've read, and there's numerous of them, Bloomberg, Kotaku, Polygon, all of these are described as games because that's what people said they were. Games. No, that's sexual harassment. That's sexual misconduct. It's rape. This is damaging and disgusting. And people have been afraid to speak out. And good on the people that have spoken out, the victims of all of this, the bravest people. There has as well been something which I was quite surprised at. And I think is one small positive in this sea of bullshit from Activision Blizzard. And that is that a large group of Activision employees, former and current, have gotten together and created a petition, which I think at the moment stands at roughly 2,000 or more signatures, where they've essentially called out the company that they work for, the people that are in charge, and said, your apology was bullshit. We're not going to stand by and let you brush this under the carpet. We won't be silenced. And we're going to fight you. Because this is not the culture we want. These aren't the beliefs and the beliefs that we as a company stand for, the principles that we stand for. Not in my name, as it were. And we're going to fight you on this and make sure things actually change. Now, unless I'm wrong, I didn't see anything like this from Ubisoft last year. So to see this, at the very least, is one small positive out of all of this rot that's transpired. Obviously, there's been a real move in recent years where video game companies are becoming far more financially and monetarily motivated and focused. They're a business. Businesses have got to make money. I understand that. But so often does it come at, or has it started to come at the expense of the quality of the product? They want to make money quick, right? That's sadly become the norm here. And what's even sadder is a lot of video game companies, not just Activision Blizzard, have started to make the bulk of their profits from microtransactions. Whether that be cosmetics, currency, whatever. A large proportion of their income, I'm talking nearly 50%, sometimes over in some cases, are bringing a lot of their revenue yearly. And it's something that a lot of companies now focus on because it makes the games more financially viable, right? I mean, I'll give Overwatch as an example. How excited do people get when there's a new event on? When there's new skins? There's new cosmetics to be had. If that especially doesn't, promote or prompt people to buy more during those periods, then I don't know what does, especially. And like I said, it's become we've seen it in the quality of work that's gone down. Last year, perfect example, once again from Activision Blizzard, when they released their remake or remaster of Warcraft 3. Warcraft 3 Reforged. That was made as quickly as possible and shilled out as quickly as possible. To terrible reviews. They botched it. It wasn't a main focus for them. That much is evident. There's articles about it. That much is evident. It wasn't a main focus for them. What was the main focus? Diablo 4, Overwatch 2, raping their employees. To name a few things, right? So that quality and care is just not there anymore. And money, especially to Activision Blizzard, we've mentioned it before on the podcast. 2019, I think it was, that they made the most money, that financial year, they'd made the most money than they had in a while. Great, well done, congratulations. It's also worth mentioning, they, without warning, sacked or made redundant many, 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 many members of their staff. At the very least, an entire studio's worth of team they let go to save on costs, whilst boasting about record revenue for that year. Bobby Kotick, the Activision Blizzard CEO, is a piece of shit. He's a disgusting piece of human being. A billionaire, of course. And let me find what he actually said about all this. He echoed a statement calling the behaviours described as deeply disturbing. Whilst other members of that company higher up also called the allegations distorted and false. So there was an employee who went away on a business trip with her manager or supervisor. On this business trip, she committed suicide because of the sexual harassment and abuse that she was receiving from the guy that she'd gone away with on the business trip. I want to make that clear, it was a business trip. It was also made evident that prior to this, naked photos of her had been leaked and were shared about the office. That's disgusting. That behaviour is disgusting. That this woman's private photos, with regardless of who she sent them to initially, if at all, were used in such a way and resulted in this. I'd also like to point out that Activision Blizzard mentioned this in their bullshit apology, saying that it was very disrespectful and upsetting to not only the company but the family of the woman who ended her life. Upsetting that it was brought to light in such a way. Not the fact that it fucking happened in the first place at their company with their staff members. But then again, what do you expect from a company that says that most of the allegations are false or fabricated? Also want to mention as well, not just women, but particularly women of colour as well, were especially vulnerable targets of these discriminatory practices. Not only that, but the DFEH is also within this lawsuit wanting to address not everything we've been talking about, but also unpaid wages, pay adjustments, back pay, lost wages, and benefits for female employees. Fucking basics. Bare minimum. They can't even do that right. I'm disgusted and appalled. And even more so that we're talking about this again. We're talking about this again. This is I don't know how this is fixed, but it needs to stop. Like I said, it's a rot that needs to be cut out, and it's members of this industry that need to be kicked out and shown the fucking door and never returned back. Not the bullshit that we had last year with Ubisoft, where many people were let go but given massive redundancy packets and still allowed their royalties from all the hard, wonderful work they've done. Nah. Put these cunts in jail. It's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. A lot of the public outcry that I've seen about this, though, has been positive, which I'm a little surprised at. Maybe it's just the corners of the internet that I've trod. It's not a word. But it's been overwhelmingly positive to see gamers stand up and say, this is disgusting, this is bullshit. We need to stop this. How dare you? Whereas, like I said earlier, last year, it was a case of shut up. We don't want to hear about it anymore. We want to talk about Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Change is coming. Change is happening. Whether people like it or not, it needs to. It needs to desperately, because there's a rot in this industry. There's lots of things that we can do to express our dissatisfaction as gamers. And I know, certain causes in the past have kind of let us down, especially when we get together and decide we're going to boycott a thing. It doesn't usually happen. But there's lots we can do. And we saw that, especially a couple of years ago with EA and Star Wars Battlefront 2. Such action did we take that they took away all the disgusting practices that they'd made in that game, all the microtransactions. Such a wave did we make that Disney got involved because they own, obviously, the rights to Star Wars. I'm not saying Disney were the heroes here. No, I'm not. Don't mix that up. But there we are. But what I'm saying is we can create change in the industry. One of the ways you can, as we always say, is vote with your wallet. What I'm not saying, though, is which we always say, and again, I feel like I'm fucking repeating myself. Like every year or so, we have the same conversation about some bullshit. I'm kind of fed up with talking about it. I really want to talk about good and happy and enjoyable things within the industry, but stuff like this happens and it needs to be spoken about. Like, can you just not? Can you just for fucking once not be a piece of shit, rotten industry? We never say on this podcast to not buy or play a game because of a thing. We said it about Valhalla last year at Assassin's Creed. I still really enjoy Overwatch. I'm not a hypocrite for wanting to play it, but also call out the company that made it. Rotten cunts. There are things you can do. Voting with your wallet is one of them. And that's not to say you're once again boycotting or not buying the game outright at all. Perhaps don't pre-order it. A lot of gaming industry companies rely on pre-orders quite heavily. We've seen that in the last arguably 10 years minimum. Or max, probably. The push, the drive for pre-orders. Pre-order this edition, get this. Pre-order that edition, get this and that. It's a huge driving force in the market. To get that money in quick, get that money in early. Pre-orders is one way you can really hurt and make a statement. Right? Not buying day one, again, also really hurts. Makes a statement. Buy the week after. Or better yet, if you can, buy a second-hand copy. Those are some things you can do. What you can also do is don't stop making noise about it. Keep making noise. Keep expecting them to do better. Call them out on their bullshit. If you're a fan of their games, then it's your duty to not only praise them when they've done well, but also punish them or speak up when they've done poorly, to put it in the nicest way which they do not deserve. It's also worth mentioning that many game developers in this industry do not get enough credit for the work and service that they do and provide. Some don't even get fucking credited for the work they've done. It's very easy to get blacklisted. This is why it's fucking terrifying and people worry about coming out and speaking up about this sort of shit. Because you can very easily never work again. And this is something that's quite prevalent in a lot of the creative industries. Not just video games, but also the industry that I've worked in for many years. The performance industry. They also, as is mentioned earlier, don't get paid enough for the shit that they do. If at all sometimes. And there's also never any guarantee that they'll have a job after they've done or completed developing said game. Like I said, the year that Activision Blizzard ranted and raved about the most revenue they've had in years, they also let so many people go and made them unemployed. Good guy Blizzard, huh? Good guy Blizzard. And then on top of all of this, they got to deal with a culture that's rife of discrimination, misogyny, rape, sexual harassment, sexual abuse, all predominantly targeted at women, people of colour, minorities, members of the LGBTQ plus community. It's disgusting. It's fucking atrocious. They're going to work doing things that they love for presumably a company they really want to work for because perhaps they've played World of Warcraft for fucking years and it inspired them to become a video games developer. Oh, but wait, as soon as I start working for them, this is the fucking culture at this workplace? No matter who you are, you should feel safe to work where you work. That's not a fucking a perk or a bonus. That's an expectation. That's a bare fucking minimum. It's a bare fucking minimum. But instead, this is the shit. I don't know really what else I can say about this subject that I've not already sort of said or expressed or even said on previous episodes when we were talking about Ubisoft, for example. But once again, don't let them forget this. Force them to do better. Hold people accountable. And for the victims of all of this abuse, whether it's discrimination, sexual misconduct, sexual abuse, rape, whatever, we stand with you. I stand with you. And I believe you. And I hope that this tiny, small, shitty little podcast that I do on the internet once a month or so starts to affect some sort of change, you know? On a small scale. I'm just a dude. I'm just a dude who makes shitty internet content to a very small community of people. But I hope that that small community will know about this shit and not stand for it. But to those victims, we're with you. We believe you. We stand with you. And as much as you want this industry to change, so do we. So let's Let's do what we can, y'all. Let's do what we can. Right. Yeah. Sorry for that rant for nearly an hour about how shitty Activision Blizzard are. So that is probably a good time to stop there. It's probably a good time to stop there. So thank you for tuning in, listening, and watching, however you're consuming this podcast. We usually try and ask a little bit of our community what they've been up to, what they've been playing so far, or what they've been doing. We ask them a question and try and get them involved. One of my close friends, Elite Katie, who's in the can sometimes be found in our live stream, has been playing Overwatch. My friend Nick, friend of the show, who's been on the show a few times, has been playing Final Fantasy 14. It's been dope. I need to get on that game. The Witcher app. Did you know, Burrito? I didn't talk about it. Did not talk about it. But I've been doing that. It's been pretty good. The Witcher Monster Slayer app. Pretty fucking good. Been enjoying it. I think it needs a bit more. Certainly needs a few more tweaks to it. It's very early in its sort of stage of development or what have you. Yeah, it needs some polish. Needs some polish or some polish. One thing I would like to see is something similar to what Pokemon Go has, where, you know, the pedometer does stuff. You know, you unlock things or whatever by walking. That would be good. That's something that's missing. But yeah. I think I got another reply from something. Yeah, Alex in the Hyphen, another streamer who, after being emotionally destroyed by The Last of Us 1 and 2, has decided to play Alien Isolation. So there we go. Thank you to everyone who replied on social media to that question for the podcast. Hell yeah, those tree things at level 10. I don't know what the hell they are. I'm excited to find out what they're about as well in The Witcher Monster Hunter. But yes, that is that. Sorry, I'm trying to be some sort of energetic, but after that topic, it's hard. It's fucking hard to. So I think I'm just gonna call it there as quickly as I can, basically. But thank you so much for tuning in, watching, listening, however you're consuming this podcast. Now to shamelessly self-promote and plug myself. I'm the Undead Gamer. You can obviously, if you're listening or watching the podcast, you sort of know where to find me. But I stream as often as I can. Still don't have a schedule yet. Working on it. But we're streaming as often as we can. Mostly playing a lot of Sea of Thieves at the moment with buddies, and we've started a new gameplay playthrough for the first time. I've never played it. Of Thronebreaker, the Witcher adventure Gwent standalone game thing. So that's what I'm doing on the channel, twitch.tv/TheUndeadGamr. Come along, hang out. Find me on social media, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, at TheUndeadGamr. Gamer, always without the E. To hear my thoughts and musings and me trying to use social media more, and also to find out when I'm streaming. Other than that, if you miss the podcast, you want to watch the VOD, all the VODs are on the YouTube channel. Just look for The Undead Gamer on YouTube. And of course, this podcast is available for free on all the podcasting platforms. Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Amazon Music, I think. A lot of places. a lot of places. Podbean as well. So you can go listen to that for free. All the episodes, including bonus episodes, which we will try and do more of as well, I promise. Like I said at the start of the podcast, maybe we'll do one discussing Sea of Thieves. That could be quite good to do, because I feel there's a lot there to discuss. But anyway, thank you very much for tuning in. I hope that wasn't too heavy for you, but shit needs to be spoken about. Fuck Activision Blizzard, and we'll catch you in the next one. Thank you. Bye-bye.